Hello Stampers, and welcome to another Paper Pumpkin alternate project. This one is for May 2025. I am a little bit late in the game, but better late than never because I fell in love with this kit and it was a lot of fun playing with it to create an alternate project. So without further ado, let's get started and take a peek at this amazing kit. First of all, I just want to take a peek at some of the things that I'm not using in this kit. Look at the amazing card base here. There are a few card bases. We are using one of them today, but this one we are not. So much fun. And then all of these layered pieces of vellum and of printed paper and labels. And I haven't even looked close enough at the kit to know what that's for, but that is awesome. And I love the stamp set. We are going to use 3 of the images in the stamp set for our alternate project. Not all images. Here are some birds, and then happy birthday, and then to a wonderful man. So those are the 3 stamps, along with the Misty Moonlight Stampin' Spot. And we're going to use an envelope. I mean, I always think if you can figure out a great use for the envelope, just think of how much you can get out of a kit, because this doesn't detract from any of the cards that are in the kit. You just have to use a white envelope instead of using this one. So I decided we're going to cut this apart, and that's how we're going to start. So grab your trimmer. And I just recently got a new blade on it, so I am loving how well my trimmer is working right now. So we're going to start by taking off the top flap so you can get that score line kind of in the groove of the trimmer. And I did just a wee bit more just to make sure I got all of it. Then I'm going to turn it, and I am going to cut off one of the side flaps. And now we need a 3 3/4 inch square. So I'm going to cut at 3 3/4. And then I'm going to turn it one more time and cut that at 3 3/4. Then we're ready to go with that piece. But we're going to next bring in our card base. Now this we're going to use in a couple different ways. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of the bottom. And actually, no, I'm not. Pivot. I'm going to cut this at 4 inches. That's what I want to do first. Okay. And then I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off the bottom. And then I'm going to do 4 inches here like so. So we should have a piece that looks about like this. And then we're going to take what's left and we're going to cut 1 1/4 inches off of this side here. And we've got a score line here for the card base fold, so we can avoid that by just taking it off the right side. So I'm going to do 1 1/4 inches here. And then I'm going to take that same 1/2 inch off. And then this time I'm going to go at 4 1/4. So I'm going to leave a little bit extra on there. So that's, we have that piece. Then we're going to use this piece for one more thing. I am going to cut a banner out of this piece by grabbing my Nested Essentials dies. These are some of my favorite dies that we carry. And I'm going to take the 3rd largest banner. And I am going to get as much of this light color as I can. So I'm going to put that die way up to the top of that piece that's left. And then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Boy, I would not be able to live without this thing. I love my Big Boss. I love my Little Boss too, which I could have used for this. But the Big Boss is what I had handy. So I'm going to go with the flagged end banner cut end first, because then it's not taking a whole side into the machine at the same time. So it gradually brings the whole die in when you go with those points first. So I'm going to do that, and it gets through it pretty easily. Put this away and grab my amazing banner. And I love the stitching that these dies leave. I think that's really sweet. All right, and then this piece you have for future use. I'm not going to use that in the alternate. Okay, I'm going to grab I'm going to grab several of these pieces, and we're going to stamp birds on them. Go ahead and grab the bird stamp, the one with lots of them. And they should look like little V's, and then you know you're right side up. And I'm going to just stamp some of those in the upper left corner. And you can choose what the upper left is. I chose this. You can turn it and do it whatever way you want. Okay, then I'm going to grab one of my white pieces, and I am going to stamp some more birds. So grab your little Misty Moonlight Stampin' Spot. And this time I'm going to go in the upper right corner for my white. And then we're going to grab this piece, and we're going to stamp the birds a couple of times. So I'm going to ink it up, stamp them across the top, and then ink them up again and move them down a little and stamp them again. So it looks like that. So we've got birds in several different places, and I love that stamp because it just really fills in some space, and I just love how it looks. And then we're going to take To a Wonderful Man, and then that I am going to stamp on my white piece. This is going to be the inside of my card. So that's what that is going to look like. So here we've got all of our pieces ready to go. Let me bring in, oh, not quite. Let's grab this one. We're going to stamp our happy birthday on there, and we're going to stamp it as low on the light color as we can. So something like this, okay? Because we're going to put some linen thread up at the top. I don't want to cover up my words. So that is that, and I think we're ready to grab a few other pieces of cardstock here. So let me bring these in so I can show you what I've got. I've got a second piece of basic white that is cut 4x4. It is the same exact size as this piece here. Then I've got a piece of 11 by 4 1/4, so it's 11 this way by 4 1/4 this way, and it is scored at 5.5 inches and 9 3/4 inches, and you can see those dimensions at the bottom of the screen. Then I'm going to take another piece of Misty Moonlight. This one is cut 6 3/4 by 4 1/4, and I've scored it 1/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch from each end. And as you can see, I've cut a window in it using, again, those Nested Essentials dies, the largest of the rectangles. So I've cut that out of here, but I've also saved the cutout for another part of my card. All right, now we're going to put this fun fold card together. If you have been following me for a while here on YouTube, you know that when I come with an alternate project, usually it includes a fun fold. So we're going to take and just kind of fold lightly on the score lines, and we're going to do the same thing with this one, with the window here. And then we want to do a couple of things before we get started putting it together. We're going to adhere this piece, and it is going to go way to the right so that this border here equals this border and or this bottom border, so that it's the same border essentially on 3 sides. Then on this side of the card, we are going to layer this piece. So it's going to fit right inside the bigger section that is left. So we'll add this over here. And then we're going to start adhering pieces. So we're going to start here. We're going to put adhesive here, and then this is going to fold over that like so. Now there are a couple different ways you can do this. You can use your Stampin' Seal, or there is some tear and tape in the kit. I love tear and tape for movable parts or liquid glue. So I'm going to grab my tear and tape here. Liquid glue works really well too. And then you can spend some time shifting your paper until it lines up the way you want. So a couple different ways you can do it. I think when I did this alternate project with my subscribers, I used liquid glue, I think, on that one. So I'm changing it up using a little tear and tape because it's in the kit. Why not? Then the skinny piece that we cut, we're going to add to this section here. Now, actually, for this one, I am going to grab my liquid glue because it fits right in that section. So I want to be able to scooch it around a little bit if need be. Okay, so once it's lined up, then I'll really make sure it's adhered there. Okay, what do you think so far? It's pretty cute, right? Okay, then we're going to squish this side down so that the end lines up with the score line over here, but not over it. It fits perfectly. And then I am going to do tear and tape again. So we're going to do tear and tape twice. Once near the edge, and then once near the score line. And then it's going to hold everything in place just right. So now once we've got the paper backing off, we can fold this over and check this out. Oh, you're gonna die. Oh, so pretty. It's a little diorama card, and yet it folds flat. I just think that is such a cool thing. Perhaps you've seen it before. If this is your first time, I'm excited to be the one to show you. But I thought this kit would be perfect for using this particular fun fold. All right, then we're going to add this piece from the kit, and it's going to go right down here in the corner. So what I want to notice is where the adhesive can go. So I'm going to go right around here and maybe a little bit at the top on the point. So I can squish this down, make sure everything lines up the way I want it to. And then we've got that really cool finish on the diorama. So the inside of our card now is finished. So we're going to fold it flat and work on the outside. This isn't too tricky, but I want to bring in this piece that we've stamped, this piece of vellum. This vellum is going to go right here in the bottom left corner, and then we're just going to trim the excess off. So go ahead and add adhesive. The vellum, I have found, does not really allow the adhesive to see through. It's thick enough vellum, and the fact that it's colored, I think, helps a lot. And I do not have my scissors handy. Oh, here it is. Okay. I was going to say, don't judge me, but I was going to use a ribbon scissors. It's like your mom's fabric scissors. Don't use it for anything except fabric. Okay, so here we've just got that little piece of vellum on there, and then we're going to add it to a white border. So the colors in this kit, Lost Lagoon, Pool Party, Misty Moonlight, I think those are all colors in here, and I just think they're so pretty. All right, so I'm going to add this then to the front of my card. And then we're going to add this piece. So remember how we cut it out of this 6 3/4 by 4 1/4 piece? Well, now we're going to use it to help decorate the front of the card. And we're basically going to put this right in the center. And then we need our banner. So grab a long piece of linen thread and leave several inches on one end, and then wrap the other end around multiple times. And now we are going to we're going to attempt tying it in a knot, or in a bow rather. So we're going to do it kind of on the left side of the banner. Hey, not too shabby. Everybody gets lucky sometimes. All right, so we've got, that's so sweet, isn't it? And even though we've got a bow on there, I think it makes a great guy card. I know some people would probably say, no, you can't have a bow on a guy card, but I think when it's linen thread, I think you can. My opinion, of course. And then we're going to add dimensionals to the back. We'll add 4. And these I just stole from the kit. There are plenty, usually. And then I'm just going to go right, oops, I do like to do a little bit of texturizing of my banner. And then I'm going to go on the left side of that background piece here and put the banner up to about the piercings in the shape. And then we've got ourselves a great guy fun fold using May's Paper Pumpkin Kit. I love it, don't you? I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I've already got my June box, so my wheels are turning. Can't wait to see you again to share yet another Paper Pumpkin alternate. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single video.